Hey guys, this is another edition of my video mailbag. So today, I'm going to be answering a question about transitioning. This is a really frequent question that I get asked is, what do you do after the opener? I think a lot of guys, their big problem is they're like, what do I say to open? And then you give them an opener. And they're like, what do I say next? And then you give them stuff to say next, and they're like, what do I do now? But at least we'll fix that second problem today. So I've gotten like 4 or 5 questions about this. I don't have a specific question I'm going to read today, but we're going to talk about transitioning. There's a couple different ways to transition. The first way to transition is using what's called a linkage phrase, a phrase that links two things together. So I'm going to talk about a couple of different ways to use this idea. Number one is just using a linkage phrase out and out. This is where you say things like, check this out, that reminds me of, the weirdest thing happened to me today, you guys are never going to believe what happened, I gotta tell someone this, etc. Now, if you're a little bit better with your social skills, you can build a bridge. And building a bridge happens where you ask a question or you redirect a subject towards something you want to talk about. So, for example, let's say I want to tell a story about my ex-girlfriend, right? So I've opened, and now I've got a transition. So I might say, where are you guys from? And they go, we're from Colorado. And I go, oh, crazy, my ex-girlfriend's from Colorado. It's really funny because she used to strip and she didn't believe in dinosaurs. And now I can go off on my ex-girlfriend thing. So building a bridge is just where you ask a rapport question and then you use whatever they give you to direct that to your next subject. It's a little more complicated than just using a linkage phrase, but it's a skill that guys who are kind of a little more advanced should definitely work on, because you can build bridges to get from any subject to any other subject, which is a really useful skill. The second way to transition is through making an observation. And observations can be about 3 things. They can be about the girl, they can be about the environment, or they can be about other people in the environment, right? So observations about girls are going to be things, you want to stay away from things that are physical, like you have a great ass, and stick more to things that are like energy, fashion, facial expressions, height, her vibe, what kind of girl she seems to be, what kind of markings she has. Does she have tattoos, piercings, dyed hair? Is she sending any sort of a message about who she is as a person through anything you can observe? Observations, you just kind of have to get used to making them. A good exercise is to just make any observation that pops into your mind for about a week. It will be weird. People will look at you strange for a couple days, but you'll get the hang of what's a normal observation and what's a little off if you do that for a while. Second thing you can make observations about are the environment. If you're in the mall, there are various stores. If you're in a club, there's various other things going on. Dancers, music, lighting, accoutrement, decoration. Anything in the environment. That's a good thing. In fact, if you ever find yourself stalling, find something in the environment and talk about it. Chairs, desks, lamps, people dancing, whatever it is, stereos. But that's a quick way to stop yourself from stalling out. And ultimately, other people. If you're out at night, you could talk about the group that she's with, other guys that are there, guys hitting on girls, other people, embarrassing people in the club, people that are dressed weird, people that are dressed cool, other hot girls. It really pisses girls off if while you're hitting on one girl, you're like, that girl's really hot. If you haven't really hit on her yet and you're just talking to a girl and it's a neutral conversation, if you talk about how another girl's hot, that generally can cause some jealousy and good things can happen there. But again, so her, the people around, or the environment, that's where observations come from. Another thing you can do is role play. This is one of my favorite things to do right off the opener. Role plays are real simple. You just take any kind of fantasy situation. Like, if I meet a girl during the day, I can be like, you know what, you're totally hired as my new personal shopper. If we're, like, walking around Target or something, Or, you're totally my new single serving friend. We're going to be friends for the next 10 minutes while I'm waiting for my sister to meet me. Role plays are great because they give you a chance to see if the girl's playful. They give you a chance to have this fun, playful communication, and they also allow you to have distance and objectivity to do things that you may or may not do naturally. Another way to transition is to make a cold read. Cold reads are great ways to transition. So there are mini cold reads where you kind of cold read the group. Like, you're like, oh my god, you guys are totally like the mean girls from high school. Like, I can tell she's like the leader. She's the girl who gets drunk. She's the girl who follows orders. Or they can be a little more specific. They could be like, wow, I totally have this intuition about you. I bet you that you have like a lot of acquaintances but not a lot of close friends. So cold reads are another way to transition. That's enough ways to get started. There's more ways to transition, obviously. You can ask questions and use that to transition a bunch of ways. You can transition without using a transition, just start talking about something else. And there's various other things you can do. But for now, that'll give you guys some good ways to start consistently transitioning off the opener. I would say pick one to start with. Then once you get good, use another one, and then get good at all four of them, and then you can kind of pick which one feels right at the time in the situation. So that's going to wrap up this video on this Thursday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to all of you soon. If you guys have questions, email them to me at sinn, SINN, @sinnsofattraction.com. Thanks.